Okay, let's dive right into this. Welcome to an explainer that honestly goes way, way beyond the boundaries of a normal football pitch. Today, we're looking at a completely fascinating journey of human potential. It is just incredible to see how raw obsession and unyielding discipline can completely transform ordinary, even painful beginnings into world-altering achievements. We're going to unpack the psychology of greatness through one of the most famous athletes in human history, Cristiano Ronaldo. But look, rather than just rattling off a list of his trophies, because we all know he has a ton of them, let's dissect the actual mindset of a man who decided that failure literally wasn't an option. We're going to uncover a real, actionable blueprint that we can actually apply to our own lives.
Talent may open the door, but discipline determines how far you go. This thought really captures everything we're exploring today. Because long before the blinding flashbulbs, the world records, the private jets, there was absolutely no guarantee of success for him. None. Just a boy with an unwavering, almost irrational belief in his own potential, paired with a relentless work ethic. We live in a world that absolutely loves the idea of a chosen one, right? The natural genius. But as you'll see, greatness is almost always constructed in the shadows, far, far away from the applause.
Section 1. The Boy from Madeira, Overcoming Hardship.
To truly understand this level of obsession, you really have to look at the sheer scale of sacrifice at the very beginning of his life. Growing up in a profoundly modest home in Madeira with a family that was really struggling financially, massive success seemed like an impossible dream. And yet, at just 12 years old, Cristiano made the heart-wrenching decision to leave that family and move hundreds of miles away to Sporting CP's academy in Lisbon. Put yourself in those shoes for a second. Just imagine it. You're 12, you're lonely, you're profoundly homesick, and you are surrounded every single day by older, stronger players who want exactly what you want. The natural human instinct there is to retreat to comfort, right? He could have so easily given up and gone home. Instead, he made this incredible psychological pivot. He chose to use his severe hardships and that deep loneliness as his ultimate fuel, effectively wiring his brain for resilience from day one.
Section 2. Transforming through obsession. The Manchester United era.
When he was signed as a teenager by Manchester United under the legendary Sir Alex Ferguson, he finally stepped onto the world stage. But the Premier League was a completely different beast. It was faster, highly physical, just a remarkably punishing environment. And almost immediately, the media and the critics were quick to apply negative labels. They called him flashy, selfish with the ball, wildly inconsistent. Now, the psychology of a high performer is tested right here. Most people, when faced with massive public criticism, they get defensive, they complain, or they just crumble. Ronaldo's response? He silenced the noise through undeniable obsession. Rather than complaining, he completely transformed himself. He spent grueling, unglamorous hours in the gym meticulously building his physical strength. He studied his opponents relentlessly, and he improved his decision-making on the pitch. He returned each season noticeably stronger and more complete than the last. The really crucial point here is exactly how he achieved that transformation. It wasn't magic. While other massively talented, wealthy players rested after their mandatory training, Ronaldo got to work. Step 1, he stayed behind. Always. Step 2, he subjected himself to agonizing extra sprint drill and relentlessly practiced free kicks. Step 3, he repeated the exact mechanics of ball control and finishing until it was pure muscle memory. It's like he was building a machine. Coaches quickly realized they weren't just dealing with a talented kid. They had someone who was entirely obsessed with incremental, daily improvement. Teammates often talk about arriving early to the training ground, only to find him already out there, covered in sweat, working, while the rest of the world was still fast asleep.
Section 3. The Price of Greatness. The Real Madrid Years.
So, after winning his first Ballon d'Or and securing a massive world record transfer to Real Madrid, the pressure was immense. We're talking an entire stadium of 80,000 fans demanding absolute perfection from him every single week. But the invisible architecture of his ensuing greatness is what's truly fascinating. Behind every spectacular bicycle kick or lifted Champions League trophy was a grueling, totally hidden daily routine. Strict nutrition to fuel peak performance, with literally zero exceptions. Meticulous recovery and sleep schedules to ensure essential physical repair. Relentless strength training to build an indestructible body capable of handling violent tackles. And of course, endless mind-numbing repetition to perfect his technique. This right here is the psychology of delayed gratification in its purest form. His success wasn't luck, no way. It was the mathematical result of thousands of incredibly unglamorous days executed with extraordinary, almost robotic consistency.
And we really can't discuss Ronaldo without looking at the catalyst that pushed him to his absolute limits, his historic rivalry with Lionel Messi. There is a really profound psychological truth hidden in here. When faced with a legendary peer, human nature often defaults to fear, right? Fear of shrinking under the pressure, or fear of constantly being compared and falling short. But Ronaldo didn't shrink, not even a little bit.
He used it as high-octane fuel. He didn't fear the competition. He openly welcomed it. Every milestone Messi achieved simply inspired Ronaldo to raise his own astronomical standards even further, using this dynamic to push the entire sport of football to unprecedented heights.
Section 4. Leadership beyond the pitch, evolving through setbacks.
Even with a mindset that completely separated him from countless gifted athletes, he still had to face the inevitable, harsh setbacks and a failing physical body. Which begs a really profound question. What happens when the star player simply cannot play? Think back to the UEFA Euro 2016 final. This is his nation, Portugal, playing in the most important match of their lives. The hopes of millions are resting entirely on his shoulders. And then, tragedy strikes. A devastating knee injury early in the match forces him to the ground in tears. For so many players, this would be the exact moment to retreat to the locker room in despair and just mourn the loss of personal glory.
But instead, he transformed from an injured captain into a frantic sideline motivator. Unable to play, barely able to even walk, he limped back out to the technical area. He was shouting instructions, cheering every tackle, effectively becoming an assistant manager in the absolute heat of battle. It was a deeply emotional display that proved a vital lesson for all of us. True leadership isn't just about personal glory or being the one to score the winning goal. It's about inspiring others to rise to the occasion when you physically cannot. Portugal actually went on to win that final, and his leadership from the sidelines was just as crucial as his goals were throughout the entire tournament.
As the years passed, he faced another immense challenge, Father Time. To achieve unmatched longevity against younger, much faster players, he had to completely adapt his playing style. He shifted away from sheer physical dominance, evolving into this hyper-intelligent penalty box predator. His game evolved to rely heavily on positioning and intelligence, which made up about 45% of his effectiveness in his later years, alongside a 40% reliance on elite finishing. Just think about that. That required checking his ego at the door, changing his deeply ingrained habits, and letting his mental discipline overpower his natural physical decline. Also, he could continue scoring at an elite level well into his late 30s.
Section 5. The Blueprint for Success. Lessons for Life. Millions of people admire his goals, but the real lesson lies in what happens behind the scenes. Cristiano often says that dreams are totally meaningless without hard work. And whether you are building a business from scratch, pursuing a difficult education, mastering a new skill, or simply trying to improve your health, the high-performance mindset remains exactly the same. First, you have to make sacrifices that others flat out refuse to make. Second, you must understand that motivation is just a fleeting feeling. When it inevitably fades, strict discipline has to carry you. Third, maintain your standards regardless of circumstances, whether you're winning or losing, being praised or being criticized. And finally, focus on consistent action repeated over years. Excuses will appear daily, progress might feel agonizingly slow, but it's that consistent discipline that actually forces the needle to move.
As we summarize this journey, remember this: greatness is never an accident. It is built, one disciplined day at a time. Ronaldo's story is such a powerful reminder that monumental success is almost never reserved for just the most naturally gifted. The world is absolutely full of wasted talent. Success is earned by those willing to do what others simply will not do, day after day, year after year. Every championship you see on television, every record broken, every massive celebration, it all began with invisible, uncelebrated effort.
So, we arrive at our final thought for today. The big question you have to ask yourself isn't whether you were born with enough talent or whether you have the perfect circumstances. The real question is, are you willing to become completely obsessed with becoming better than you were yesterday? The blueprint is right in front of you. Now it's entirely up to you to build it. Thanks for joining this explainer. Take this mindset, apply it to your craft, and let your discipline dictate how far you go.